Welcome back to In the Oaks. Today we're going to be knocking out the rest of the nesting box build. And I'm going to show you how I use a Kreg Jig to make a clean, secure hole to attach these to the platform. I also have a quick channel update. We surpassed 500 subscribers. We're actually right at 515 right now, and I couldn't thank you enough. It's awesome to see how quickly you can grow a channel. Since we're over 500 subscribers, that's allowed me to unlock memberships, super chats during lives, which I haven't done yet. I haven't really tried to do any type of live content. I'm thinking about doing that soon, so stay tuned for that. But like I said, I've unlocked channel memberships, which allow you to support me financially as I build and grow this channel. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and click the join button. And I've opened up 2 tiers for membership. No pressure at all, just a way to support the channel in another way. But clicking like and subscribing really helps as well. The next step to monetization is 1,000 subscribers, and that allows me to run ads on YouTube to help pay for some of the things that I'm doing too. But enough of that, let's get into the video. I know there's probably 1,000 videos on how to use a Kreg Jig on YouTube, but luckily you're watching this one, and I'll show you how I use mine. Let me bring you in close so you can see what I'm doing. The first step is determining what size board you're using. For me, I'm just using some 1x, which is actually 3/4 of an inch thick, not really 1 inch thick. And then I look on the back of my box to see what I need. So for a 3/4 inch board, I need 1 1/4 inch screws for softwood, and that's what I have here. The next step is to set the collar so it stops in this jig here. That way you get your depth correct every time. Do is the bottom of this shank here goes to 3/4 inch because that's how thick of a bore you're drilling into. So I set that to 3/4. And then I just tighten this down. Now, when you go to drill your hole in your board, it'll go in so far and it stops at the same spot every time. The next step would be to set the clamp to hold your workpiece up against your flush. So what you do is put that in there, close your clamp. It seems to hold it pretty well. If that wasn't the case, you can adjust it here by turning this screw out or in, depending on what you need. Now that we have everything set up, we can go ahead and start drilling. On this board, I laid out approximately where I want my pocket holes to be. This will be the outside that will join the face board. This is going to be the side that will be up against the coop. And down here, I have a couple that will join it to the platform. There's not going to be anything up here because this is where you'll reach your hand in to get the egg, so you wouldn't want any holes there anyway. So 3 sides, 4 on this side, 4 on this side, 3 on the bottom. Let's get the drilling. This Kreg Jig does have a spot to attach a shop vac to suck all the excess sawdust out. I don't typically use that. And here we also have a spot for recommended holes. There's an A, a B, and a C up top. B and C can be used for smaller, thinner pieces of wood. A and C are spaced out for about a 2x4. And then what I do when I have boards like this is I just eyeball it. I make it flush on the side, this side, and then ultimately I'll split the difference here. Again, these marks were just approximate, essentially just to get the number of pocket holes that I want to put in here. Mount it flush here, clamp that down. And there's your pocket hole set to a perfect depth. And there's 4 on the bottom. Now we'll do 4 along the side. And there we go. Let's go install it. All right. So it's important to note that these should be on the inside of your work, unless you want to see them. But if you were to do this on the outside, then you would see the pocket hole. So it's going to sit like this. So obviously this is going to be an inside nesting box size. Say that 3 times fast. Again, since we're using 3/4 inch material, I'm using 1 1/4 inch pocket hole screws. And these are special screws designed for this. They have a pancake head and a square head to them, so it fits a special drill. It's all proprietary. Here we're going to line things up. I want to do this corner first. No particular reason. These things tend to move, so having a clamp, they do make a clamp as well. I don't have one. There we go. We'll do this outside one here. Rock solid with just 3 screws. Let's finish up the screws here. I'm not going to be putting any screws in this side just yet because I'm not ready for that faceplate that goes on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and drill pocket holes in the rest of the ones over there, and then we'll come back and assemble everything. I am working with boards that are cupped and bowed and twisted and everything else. So I think what I'm going to do is attach this side first and then bend this out a little bit to make it as straight as possible. See how this is bowed a little bit? I want it flush right there. So I'm going to hold it and then drill on the other side. Ah, flush. I apologize for the last part of the video because I didn't realize my mic was off. Discovered that afterwards, but now the mic's on. It's something I have to double check every time, I guess, because I've been forgetting it a lot. But anyway, we'll get back into this. So after I put the individual supports in and the dividers in for the nesting box, I went ahead and just cut 3/4 inch plywood to cover this back, and I put a little furring strip up top. I'm at the point in this project where I'm trying to make do with what I have. And what I have on hand is some ugly 3/4 inch plywood that is a little wet up top. So I'm going to keep it inside for a couple of days, let the wood stove pull that moisture out, dry it out. And we're also going to work on the top here. I want this strip to be fixed. I don't want it to move. I'm going to run a bead of caulk around the bottom. There'll be trim on here. And I want to have the lid flip up right here. So this portion will be for storage for now. If we need a third nesting box, I'll cut it open and we'll have a third nesting box. But for right now, for 4 to 5 chickens, two nesting boxes, that's plenty. A lot of people say that they have 5 or 6 chickens and they all just kind of wait in line to use one nesting box. So I think we'll be okay with 2. Let's get this top board cut. This is 7.5 inches. Roughly, I have a little bit of overhang for water to drip down. And then we will be done with the nesting box portion. Measure this at 50 1/2. As you can see, this was used for a table. There's a couple of dowels sticking out. That's the side we're going to cut off. I have the table saw set to 7.5. Let's go ahead and rip this board down. Every time I look at this 3/4 inch plywood on camera, it shows up so much darker than what it is in real life. It doesn't look that bad in real life, but on camera, it looks awful. And there you have it, a little bit of an overhang for water to drip off. And I'll paint this and it'll be exterior, have exterior paint on it and everything else. But that does not look bad. So I'll have, in case it's not clear, I'll have a hinge here and a hinge here, and it'll actually it'll open up like this, where this stays fixed and this does the moving. Maybe I'll have it this way. So as you can see, since the nesting boxes were done, I've been pretty busy. I got the roof on top, I put up the trim boards, and I added spacers here to bring the roof out a little bit from the building. I wanted to get that done, so I did it all off camera. There's plenty of videos on how to do this stuff on YouTube. I didn't feel like I was adding anything of value. So I just went ahead and did that quickly. The next step is going to be adding the siding. The siding just came in, I picked it up and brought it home. Let's go take a look at it. I ended up going with shiplap siding for this. This is gonna be the most bougie chicken coop in the area, but it was all free. I actually have a buddy who works for this company, and he gave me a bunch of the offcuts and things that would work for a chicken coop, but not necessarily work for the housing stuff that they build for. So all of this was free, which was unbelievable. That's the only reason why I'm going with wood siding. Other than that, I would have gone with just regular T111, which is about $50 a sheet in my area. So eternally grateful to him for hooking me up with this stuff. But essentially it just goes on just like shiplap, because that's exactly what it is. It is shiplap. So we're gonna do the entire chicken coop in that coming up. As far as the roof goes, I just have a couple of screws to put in to hold the sheeting down the whole way across. But underneath, I decided to go with no soffit. I decided to add no soffits here because I want to use that space for storage, and I know that sounds kind of weird. What I want to do is put a lock on the chicken coop door to keep the fox and coyotes out and things like that. So I want to have a space to store a key close to the coop. Also, we'll be hanging baskets from here to collect eggs and just things to help with chicken coop maintenance. So that's why I didn't put any soffits on there for storage, and I'm going to be diligent and look for bees every time in the summertime. The last update I have is I'm going to put the windows in soon. I have to put the windows in before I add the siding, so that's going to be next. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it in this video or the beginning of the siding video. Either way, stay tuned, click subscribe if you want to follow along, and also don't forget about the memberships. No pressure to join, but if you want to have early access to some of the videos, strongly considering releasing the videos as soon as I upload them for members only. So if you want to get about a week jump on everybody else, go ahead and click the membership button, and I'll see you in the Oaks.